Hi, welcome to Coffee and Culture. My name is Portia Bright Pittman, and I'm the host, of course. Today, we're doing a very special segment. We are highlighting breast cancer awareness. It's one of the most important things that we should be doing right now as women, is educating and empowering each other to move through those obstacles, if anybody is actually fighting. You know, in America, every 2 minutes, someone is diagnosed with breast cancer, and so it's so important for us to raise awareness about this disease. We need more research, and we need people who are educating about this disease. Today, we actually have a wonderful guest. You're looking at a miracle right now sitting next to me. Her name is Miss Muriel, and she is celebrating her 1 year cancer free. Yes, that is totally something to celebrate. Miss Muriel, thank you so much for being here and sitting down and just being so transparent and willing to talk about your journey. How are you doing today?
My journey.
Yes.
Oh, wow. I got this thing, which is my t-shirt. It's
Yeah.
My journey.
My journey walking through a strange
land.
Yes.
Strange to me, but known to God.
Yes.
It was an unexpected journey.
Yeah.
One that I wasn't looking forward to traveling. But since I had no choice, I decided to go ahead on and travel that road so that I can get through it.
Yes.
And the key word is through, which means there's a way out.
Yes. Talking about way out, there are a lot of women out there who, have not even thought about how they were actually going to get through something of that nature. What actually prompted you to even go get checked?
Because I get my mammograms every year. I started getting my mammograms back at the age of 32 because I had what they call cystic breast.
Yes.
And I had a scare. So at 32, I started mammograms, and I get them every year. I did not miss a year, even during COVID.
Yeah.
Made my way to get my mammogram.
Yeah.
And it just so happened in 2022, I ended up getting a call back.
Wow. And that call back, like, how did you feel? Like, did the world stop? Like, I can only imagine.
Okay. You and me both. I could not imagine. But I had it on my mammogram, and then I went home because I always do like, all right, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm on the way to get the girls checked, da-da-da-da-da. And then I get to the Carolina breast. I love Carolina breast.
Yeah.
Get the mammogram. They say, all right. I go on back home.
Yeah.
That same day, they was like, we want you to come back to redo your mammogram. I'm like, redo my mammogram?
I didn't start frying chicken. I can't.
I'm like, okay. I said, so when do you want me to come back? It was like, tomorrow.
Yeah.
I said, okay. So after I hung up with them, I'm like, I've never received a call back. It, kind of makes you scary.
For
but
sure.
Then again, I'm like, oh, no, I'm good. So I go back. And I get the mammogram the next day. And that's when Dr. Schroeder, I love Dr. Schroeder.
Yeah.
He was like, we saw something.
Yeah.
They're called calcium deposits. He said, but we want to check to make sure
Yeah.
whether it's cancer or benign. And we won't know that until we do a biopsy. And I'm like, biopsy? So it's getting deep right there.
Yeah.
It's getting deep because you're talking biopsy. So I'm like, okay, all right, you could, yeah.
Right.
When will I get the biopsy? So they scheduled me for the following week. So, you doing that whole week, thoughts are going through your head.
Yes, for sure.
Still nervous,
Yeah.
I just told my daughter, and, I was like, Mommy got to get a biopsy.
Yeah.
So she like, okay. So it wasn't like scary, but it was scary. A lot of women can't handle that callback. A lot of women can't handle when they're told, because when you hear the C word,
Yeah.
it's like death.
Yeah.
I'm going to die. Oh, what is this going? What I'm going to do? Tell my family. All these things. So the biopsy was done.
Right. Now I like how, they really jumped on to, making sure that you were, taken care of and making sure they're scheduling your thing like the next day and then the next week.
Yeah, that's a lot of people don't get that opportunity as fast as I did.
Yeah, that's very interesting for sure. And, being a black woman, they say, we are,
And a lot of
usually.
women, they wait. And then when they talk biopsy, let me talk it over with my family, things
Yeah.
like that. But the whole case, the whole situation with me, I knew God had me.
That is the most
I
important
mean,
thing.
that was I could not believe that I got a malignancy
Yeah.
because had prayer warriors praying. I had people praying that it was going to be benign. But when I got that diagnosis, sitting in a restaurant, getting ready to have lunch,
Yeah.
and they said it was cancer,
Mm.
I couldn't understand.
Yeah. I know.
It didn't shake my faith, but I just could not understand it. And so God said to me, the Holy Spirit speaks to his people.
Oh yeah, I trust me. I know.
And he said it had to happen. So the process itself was led by God
Yeah.
because everything happened for me within 30 days. Never been done before. My diagnosis was the 22nd. I received my biopsy I received my biopsy on the 22nd. I saw my breast surgeon on the 2nd of March, which was a week later, and I had my surgery the next week,
Wow.
March 10th,
Wow. All of that literally back to back to back to
within
back.
30 days.
Wow. And you sound so empowering just working through that process because a lot of women would have sunk into a depression. But you said holding on to your faith is what led you to overcome that whole obstacle. Because just hearing that word, cancer,
I'm telling you, support. You have to have a support system.
yeah.
A lot of women go into depression because they don't want to talk about it. They want to keep it close to themselves.
Yeah.
But I was instructed by the Holy Spirit. I cannot keep quiet. I have to tell
He
the
won't
story.
let you keep quiet.
I had to tell the story. And the thing is, when early detection is the key,
Yeah.
that's what will save your life. So it saved mine. I had what they call DCIS, which is ductal carcinoma inside 2. Stage 0, because it had not gotten outside of the breast wall.
Yeah.
But I had a very high grade, which was a grade 3, the highest it is, which could actually cause it to just be invasive. But because it was contained, I was fine with that, even with the grade.
That's a blessing for sure. And just being an advocate, you mentioned getting detected early. When we were having a conversation, you mentioned the support groups and how important it is to have a support system. Tell us how your support groups have helped you become a better advocate.
I found my support group online after I got my diagnosis.
So you didn't even wait. You literally went online and
I'm
saw.
like, I need some help.
Yeah.
But let me backtrack. I volunteered at the breast cancer clinic. And I started volunteering in 2019.
Yeah.
I dealt with patients that received diagnosis. I was there as a support system, what we call a lay navigator.
Okay.
Okay? So I've seen these women come in. I've hugged women that got their diagnosis. I've just cried with women.
Yes.
Never thought that I would be in that same situation.
Right.
But that was also a plan of God.
Yes, it was.
You
You were
hear me?
already helping advocate.
It was a plan of God because I had that same team
Yeah.
to be there for me.
Wow.
When I found that I had to have a biopsy, I called my nurse navigator, Deborah. I said, "Are you busy?" She said, "What's wrong?" I said, "I need to talk to you."
Yeah.
So I went over to her office and I told her what Dr. Schroeder said. She immediately went to her desk and she pulled up a picture of the breast with those little white spots.
Yeah.
Calcifications is what they're called.
Okay.
And then she said, that little spot there means that it's in a cluster, which is probably cancer. She said, but we'll just wait and see. And I was like, oh, Jesus. You know, something.
Yeah.
And the support group I found, I'm still a part of that group.
Yeah.
They don't want me to leave. But they were there, and a lot of women all over the country, all over. I'm telling you, I have to tell this. I'm just a faith believer, but I have to tell this testimony. I was diagnosed with thyroid disease right before my breast cancer.
Wow.
And there was a young lady that talked to me about reaching out to women from all over. I'm like, what is she talking about? You know?
Yeah.
Never knew that it would be my breast cancer diagnosis.
Yeah.
And those women are from Italy, Nigeria, Australia,
Wow.
every state. And so I met these women online and I told them about my diagnosis. And they just, I mean, you're talking about, we're here for you. And they're there for a lot of women that don't have the support from family or friends.
Right.
That's their only way in is through that group. So when you think about it, reaching out to people, and another thing, I had 2 family members that were diagnosed with breast cancer back in the 80s. So that's how I became an advocate
Yeah, for
for
sure.
breast cancer.
Wow.
You know, my favorite aunts.
Yeah.
One of them, because of, how you put it, African American women,
Yes.
back in the 80s, we didn't know nothing about mammograms. If we did, we didn't get them.
Right.
And my aunt was one of those. And when she found out she had breast cancer, we looked at her arm, and her arm was swollen. And I was like, Auntie, what's wrong with your arm?
Yeah.
She said, I don't know. I mean, it was really big. So she ended up going to her primary care doctor. They did some tests, and she had metastatic breast cancer.
But if the arm never swole, she wouldn't have
It
known.
was, I mean, it had already spread.
Oh my God! Now, speaking of that, well, from your perspective in on your journey, what advice would you give? Like, when should women start getting their mammogram?
Me personally, because there are so many young women being diagnosed. In my breast cancer group, there are some young women that at the age of 27, 27 years old, diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer.
Wow! And see, we've always been told, start when you're kind of like in your 40s.
40.
Yeah.
That's what they say. And I wish there was a way that we could move that age up.
Maybe it could be you. You're the spokesperson.
To move that age up, because who would think a 27-year-old
Right.
would be diagnosed with breast cancer? Who
I would have never thought that,
would
for
think
sure.
that?
Maybe that's something that the law could change. If a lawmaker is watching today, we
Yeah.
have a miracle here. They're saying, hey, when maybe we should start earlier, educating young women about getting breast cancer mammograms earlier. Now, Ms. Muriel, you actually said something earlier too when we were having a conversation. You said getting a 3D mammogram versus the regular mammogram you would advise best, right?
I'm sorry?
Giving the 3D mammogram versus
3D, yes, 3D.
versus
Regular mammograms don't usually pick up. If you have dense breasts, it's hard to pick up anything. Now, I didn't have a lump.
Yeah.
Mine was done through regular mammogram 3D that picked up those calcifications. Another thing, I was scheduled to have my mammogram January, but because of my thyroid diagnosis, I had to end up rescheduling to February. And the thought that went through my head after I got diagnosed, if I had had my mammogram in January, would it have picked up as early as it did in February?
Right. Because you didn't have any warning signs, right?
So I'm like, oh my God, I'm glad I rescheduled, because it was early, very early.
Yeah.
So if I had I'm just saying, if I had my mammogram in January.
January 2023? I mean,
January
2024.
22.
Okay.
If I
Oh,
had
yeah.
in 2020,
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
2022, I had it in February 2022.
Gotcha.
But January, if I had my mammogram, would it have picked up
Yeah.
the early detection? So February was scheduled for me to get my mammogram picked up, early
Yeah,
detection is
for
what I'm saying. 3D caught it. A lot of it doesn't get caught. A lot of them have to go through MRIs, things of that nature.
Yeah.
My girlfriend that lives in Maryland, her daughter is 38. She had a baby, and she was breastfeeding. And it didn't feel right to her. So she told her mom, she said, this don't feel right. Baby, brand new baby.
Yeah.
So she goes to her doctor. Oh no, it's just, milk, doing the breastfeeding and da 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 da. Don't worry about it. You have nothing to worry about. It still didn't sit right with her and her mother.
Mm-hmm.
And she told her husband. So she found another doctor. She ended up with what they call IDC, breast cancer stage 1.
Wow.
Her baby was like 6 months old. So had she listened
To that doctor.
to what they said about, oh, it's just, doing breastfeeding, you have those issues.
Yeah.
So she ended up having a double mastectomy.
Mm.
And right now she's going through radiation.
Wow. But if she just have waited. And so what I like about that is the fact that she went forward. Like, she just didn't listen
Yeah.
to the doctor. She really went and listened to her body and got that second opinion.
That's it. And a lot of women have to advocate for themselves.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these doctors, I mean, I'm telling you, I got the best team there is. I tell
And this
anybody
is at
that.
what, the Carolina Breast Imaging Center?
I got the best team. But in my breast cancer group, there are women that do not have a good doctor. They have to travel outside of their state
Wow.
just to. One lady in our group, her daughter, because of her age, insurance will not cover her mammogram.
What? I never heard of that before.
Yeah. I think she was in like Tennessee somewhere.
Yeah.
So the mother paid out of pocket to get her daughter's mammogram. And she had breast cancer.
Wow.
So if you don't advocate for yourself
Yeah.
and you don't listen to your body, if it don't feel right, because I didn't feel anything, but because I get my mammograms, early detection saved my life.
Wow, thank God you're still here to tell this testimony, and you're doing such a great job with advocating and things of that nature. Where can people actually go to find those support groups?
I went online,
Yeah.
and it's called Breast Cancer Support. You Got This. And then there's also one called DCIS in North Carolina. I'm a part of that one too. And then they have them for each state.
Yeah.
So when you join the breast cancer, I've got this group, and you're in a different state, they would give you that different state information
Right.
as well.
Well, that's good information to know for sure. Now, of course, there are a lot of men who are, dealing with breast cancer too, and this is something that we don't talk about a lot. It's it's men who have breast cancer. Have you experienced those in your support group?
Well, I haven't. Not with the men.
Yeah.
But we still put it out there.
Yeah, for sure.
I did an interview. I did a breast cancer awareness event on last Sunday. And I specifically said, men and women, get your mammogram. There was a man sitting in the choir, and he had on his pink shirt. Real men rock pink, okay? And men don't realize that it can happen to them as well.
Yeah.
That's with anything, it's like some women get, look, my body, I don't feel like I'm a woman anymore. I chose lumpectomy.
Yeah. Now, what's the difference between the lumpectomy versus the...
Mastectomy?
Yeah.
Lumpectomy means they go and remove the tumor in the area that it is, and it does not. It's called a breast conservative surgery,
Yeah.
which means they remove the tumor, take some really healthy tissue from under your breast, and send that to pathology as well.
Yeah.
To make sure there are no cancer cells in that healthy tissue.
Yeah.
And once that pathology report comes back, then they'll let you know if you got clear margins. And clear margins mean that you don't have to have a second excision.
Right.
Okay? Some women have to go through surgery twice, and if they don't get clear margins at that second time, then the doctor suggests mammogram, because that means that some cells or somewhere has escaped. Mastectomy means removing the entire breast.
Right. Wow.
The entire breast. But reading up on it, the percentage with my lumpectomy, and if I had chose mastectomy, there was still the same percentage. Now, it's different when other women are diagnosed with a high stage or high grade of breast cancer.
Right.
Like if you got breast cancer stage 1, you may have to be able to do what they call chemo first, then have your surgery, and then do radiation.
Right.
A lot of young women opt to go ahead on and have a mastectomy, double mastectomy, because they don't want to go through radiation.
Wow. Well, you're doing such a phenomenal job. Of course, I met you online and just speaking with you and just, having that encouragement, experiencing you today. Where can people reach you if they can, want to connect with you to learn more information about, how you're advocating and what you're doing? How can people reach you?
They can reach me via email. My email address is mdjhines@yahoo.com.
Okay.
And I would give my telephone number, but better make sure, because I don't answer calls that I'm not aware.
You might better tell them come to social media.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook, I'm there. I'm on Facebook as well. I do, I do a lot of encouragement. But this young lady right here, Joyce, I connected with her through her sister-in-law. She basically was one of those, I'm going to tell it, Joyce, was unsure about what she wanted to do. And we talked, and she ended up going to the same, went on through. She got through it. And so she's a survivor as well.
Wow.
But I had to talk to Joyce. And it's not easy when you find out about breast cancer.
Right.
I've basically talked to a lot of women that get diagnosed, and then they're like, I'm not doing radiation, I'm not doing radiation. Let me explain to you about radiation. I was very scared because of the stories that I heard.
Right.
Some people like, oh my God, I'm raw, I'm burned.
Yeah.
I cried because I was like, God, I don't want to burn. I don't want to blister. I don't want to be tired.
Yeah.
And the Holy Spirit said to me, the very thing that you fear, I would allow you to delight yourself in it. I did 35 rounds of radiation.
Wow.
I drove myself every day, did not get tired, did not burn, did not blister.
Ain't God good?
And I rang the bell on June 22nd.
That's worth celebrating.
My doctor told me that I took very good care of my skin.
Yeah.
And that's another key effort. When women get double mastectomies, they have to understand that if they get radiation, it'll help destroy those cells that the naked eye didn't see.
Yeah.
If they don't get radiation, then within a year or so, some of them come. This is in my breast cancer group now. This is what I heard through them in the breast cancer. They go back, and because of the breast wall, the cancer goes somewhere else in the body. They end up either with lung cancer, bone. It's different things. So a lot of women fear the radiation because of those same symptoms. But I prefer the choice to live.
Yes.
I told my doctor, whatever it takes, I want to live. I had clear margins.
Yeah.
Just a hairline one, which they said that could be taken care of. And I had my whole breast radiated. And that's a difference between having just the spot where the surgery was.
Yeah.
But they radiated my entire breast.
Yeah.
And that this little thing, it's okay. It's okay with that. And I told my daughter, that was another thing when I made the decision to do lumpectomy.
Yeah.
So I tell women, even in the breast cancer clinic before I was diagnosed, you make your own decision. But I would encourage you to do what's best for you. You want to see, you want to live. And I didn't know that I was going to have to be telling myself those same words.
Yes.
You know what I
He
mean?
was preparing you.
Had to tell myself those same words.
Wow, God is good, and He's doing some phenomenal things and working miracles through your life and just the lives that you're touching in general. I just appreciate you sitting down with us. I also appreciate Starbucks creating these drinks in honor of you, these pink drinks, I love them. They're refreshers, of
This is
course.
good. This is really good.
We also have another gift for you, of course. We have a beautiful T-shirt here, of course. You can wear it anytime you want.
Okay.
And also, people that are also caregivers. Caregivers are so important when you talk about dealing with any illness, but breast cancer in general. We have a sash for a caregiver in your family or one of your friends who are, caregiving and helping support other people. We have this sash for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, of course. And of course, if you're listening, I want to encourage you, if you need any support, make sure you call 1-877-GO-COLMAN. That's 1-877-465-6636. If you need any information or just any support about breast cancer, please reach out to that number. Thank you so much, Ms. Muriel, for being here.
Thank you.
Of course, do you want to leave any encouragement for any woman who might see this, who does not know where she should go after getting a diagnosis?
With this, oh my gosh, there's so much I can say. But after my diagnosis, I made the decision that I was going to live my life. So I enrolled back in school, and I am a sophomore now at Liberty University.
Yes. Yes.
With a GPA of 3.89. And I'm taking up creative writing.
Yes, I love that.
Creative writing. So I live and I enjoy life. And I tell women, I tell my story, whomever I come in contact with, that I am a survivor. A lot of people think that, DCIS, but there's still the journey. And I leave with you, I'm on what we call a hormone blocker for the next 5 years because my breast cancer was what they call estrogen fed. I'm able to live without a lot of joint pain and a lot of side effects because I trust God. And I will continue to trust him, and I will continue to still tell my story. I preached a sermon right before my diagnosis. Trust the process, even before you see the progress. And that was another story that I had to live to be able to tell about. Wow. So thank you. I would encourage every woman, even men, get your mammograms.
Awesome.
Schedule your mammograms. Do not allow yourself to wait because you feel like, well, I'm going to get it later. Get it, and it'll save your life. Early detection saved my life. So now I am a can survivor.
Yes, I love that. Miss Muriel, you are a blessing for sure. Of course, as you heard it from Miss Muriel, make sure you go out and get tested, great people. This disease does not know color. It does not know age. Get tested for breast cancer and make sure you're advocating for yourself. If you know something about your body and it doesn't feel right, speak up. Don't be afraid to speak up and, do what's right. Great people, I thank you so much for listening to Coffee and Culture, of course, where we're having great coffee as well as great conversation and talking about real issues that impact real people. Hope to see you next time. Of course, you can follow us online at GPAT TV. Of course, you can visit Bright Books Club TV on YouTube to find out more information. I'll talk to you real soon, great people. Peace.